Thank you, Malcolm, for that introduction, and to Suzanne and to the AIIA for hosting today's event. It is a really important occasion today that it gives an opportunity for us in the New South Wales Government to provide you with an update of what we are doing when it comes to IT. And can I say that I've been a Minister for Finance and Services for a short period of time. It's been about 6 months now, and the portfolio is a very broad and ranging, in many cases unrelated portfolio. You go from events for work cover to events for IT to government property. It's usually all over the place, and I can say that one thing that I've really enjoyed in the 6 months and grown a real passion for has been the IT industry. And the fact that this event is on today is one of the events that I've really been looking forward to coming and speaking with you today. And also, I've been with such forward-thinking people, and I'd say that this probably has to be the most innovative and progressive group of people in a room in Sydney at the moment, much more than up on Macquarie Street, I can certainly say. But can I start by saying that 2014 has really been a big year for technology in government, and I'd really like to acknowledge some of the people in this room who have really made that possible and made a substantial contribution. And the first is Suzanne Campbell and the AIIA team. They are tireless in their efforts in ensuring that an industry perspective is always front and centre when it comes to our thinking. Secondly, to the members, which have been pointed out and acknowledged today already, of the ICT Leadership Group and the ICT Advisory Panel, I really appreciate the efforts that you have made in driving a change across government. I know that can be very frustrating at times, but your tireless efforts are making a substantial difference. And thirdly, I'd like to acknowledge the members and the different government departments who are here today: secretaries, CIOs, agency heads and management staff. This doesn't work without your openness and willingness to try new things, and that has enabled a great deal of change across government. Lastly, but no means least, each of you here today from the private sector, small, big enterprises, from Adobe to Augmentor to Facebook, I was speaking to me earlier, to the Frame Group, Swipe to SAP. We have a diverse representation from across industry today, and I'd like to thank those who I've been able to meet with and give me the frank feedback about how we can do things better in government. So today, as we set our new strategic direction for the next 12 months, there are 3 stories that I would like to tell that have really informed my thinking about the role of technology in government. And they correspond to 3 things: where we have come from, where we are going, and the big opportunities that lie ahead. And the first one is a story that I've told before, but it has really struck me during my time as a minister. And it was actually the day after I was appointed. I didn't have any staff. I was given a key to an office, and I walked in and immediately needed some stationery. Went to the stationery cupboard, opened it up, and there on the bottom, in a box gathering dust, was 100 or so 3.5-inch floppy disks. And in fact, this scene struck me so much that I took a photo of it, and I think it really represents what people think about technology when it comes to government. And they think it's old, outdated, cumbersome, and is probably gathering dust in the bottom of a cupboard. But can I say that's not true? The amazing thing here in New South Wales is that a lot of work, and a lot of great work, has been done to change that view. And I can't claim credit for that because I've only been here for 6 months. I think the work and the vision from my predecessors, Andrew Constance, who is now the Treasurer of New South Wales, and Greg Pearce before him, really had the foresight and the vision to commence this journey to get us to the point where we are now. And that is a point where I saw that the IT News has recently ranked New South Wales as the #1 state when it comes to technology. In a period of only 3 short years, we have completely overhauled our policies around sourcing, investment and procurement, and built new government structures to match. We have built, in conjunction with the private sector, 2 state-of-the-art data centres, which are the future of storage. We have set up the ICT services catalogue and negotiated with international cloud providers to offer their services. We have led the way on open government, establishing a community of practice. We have launched numerous apps for New South Wales competitions. I announced a new one just last week to make the most of our data. We have invested in social media platforms to better engage with our citizens. And Service New South Wales has set a new standard in customer service with its satisfaction ratings off the charts. We're now at the point that we have the private sector actually coming to us to see how we are operating. And I don't think I've ever heard of that happening ever before when it comes to government. I would like to, when I'm just talking about Service New South Wales, I would really like to take this opportunity to call out and congratulate the efforts of 2 outstanding individuals who I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with over the past 6 months, and that is our Customer Service Commissioner Mike Pratt, who's here with us today and will be on a panel this afternoon, and the CEO of Service New South Wales, Glenn King. As I've said, driving change across government is hard. Many have tried and many have failed, but Mike and Glenn have not only succeeded, they have redefined what excellence means, and they have a can-do attitude, which I really do believe has been the hallmark of their success. But there's a long way to go. The best way to summarise all of this change, in my view, comes from another man who I'm a big fan of, that's Stephen Covey, who many of you will know, and I read his books when I was at school, and particularly, as you know, his 7 Habits books. And one of his key principles for change, for it to be effective, it must be led from the inside out. It can't be cosmetic. It must start from the inside and work its way to the outside. And that's exactly what we're doing here with technology in the New South Wales Government. We're changing from the inside out, and now we are seeing the results coming through. But we aren't, of course, anywhere near the end of the journey. But what we have done, I believe, is lay the groundwork for future success, and now it's about what we're going to do next. The second story I want to talk to you about happened just a few months ago, and some of you will know, Suzanne knows, I'm a very keen runner, and I have to be fit in the job that I'm in, and I love getting the opportunity out the back of Parliament House to go on some runs around the Domain. And whilst I've been in this job and having ICT in my portfolio, I've come to appreciate the importance of data, and I've thought I'll start to track the effectiveness and the efficiency of my runs around the Domain. And so I decided to go and buy a Fitbit bracelet. So one day at lunch, I walked down to the Apple store down on George Street to buy one. And can I say that the experience that I had was absolutely flawless. I picked up one of the product from the store. The staff member showed it to me, informed me that I could download an app on my phone, scan the product, put my credit card details in, and had a receipt immediately emailed to me. Now, I can't remember exactly how long it took, but I was in and out in about 5 minutes. No queues, no paper, no inconvenience. The whole experience was designed around making it easier for me. Now, I'm a huge fan of Apple, but I'm a huge fan not because they develop groundbreaking technology, but because they take existing technology and make it easier to use. That, I believe, is their secret sauce: usability built around the customer. So why can't we in government be the same way? Why do we think that we are somehow an exception to the rule, or as I think John or Phil said, why do we think we're special? Why isn't a customer-centric view reflected in all aspects of government? I believe that it certainly should be. Ultimately, government is the servant of the people, and our processes and our technology should reflect that. being about them and not about us. And I know that digital means many things to many people, but to me, really, it is a shift from us in government using technology, instead thinking about how government is designed so that our citizens can interact with us in a seamless way. In fact, digital is less about government, it's less about technology and more about an experience of everything working together, being connected and joined up. The reality is I didn't walk out of the Apple store thinking that Apple was a great technology company. I walked out thinking I had a great customer service experience. And that's what our citizens want to think as well. Technology isn't about us. Our citizens don't actually care what systems we have or what systems we use. They just want a simple, painless and convenient experience when they deal with government. And digital is the enabler of doing just that. And so that's why I'm pleased to announce today the next phase of our ICT strategy called Digital Plus. Digital Plus broadens our view of technology and takes into account three important stakeholder groups, not only government, but community and industry as well. One of the first actions under this new strategy is for the Digital Government Task Force to report to the ICT Board later in the year with a vision for what digital government looks like and, importantly, how we will get there. I can tell you already, though, I'd like to see a renewed focus on innovation, real innovation when it comes to re-engineering government processes. And I'm encouraging the ICT Board to push the envelope, to come back to government with the ideas that will make a real difference and continue to lead and be accountable for this transformation. We can and we should be more agile. Imagine if we had a team of digital experts which could leverage the best thinking from inside and outside the sector to drive innovation and better ways of working. An innovation squad that could be tasked with identifying and solving service delivery challenges across government. That is an idea that I believe will soon become a reality. Earlier this year, I met with the Chief Technology Officer of the UK Government, and I was impressed by how important content and website publishing was to their digital strategy. We have thousands of websites in government. In fact, I was saying at this announcement this morning that when we came to government, we had over 1,000 government websites. We had over 8,000 different phone numbers, 1,000 call centres and 400 shop fronts across government. Certainly something that was not established with the citizen in mind. And I'd like to see that change from the thousands of these websites which are inconsistent, incomprehensible and barely used. And I'd like to see that change to a streamlined, a consolidated and consistent approach to our content. It has to be simple, it has to be convenient, and it has to be available 24/7. Digital Plus for our citizens means that they can access easy-to-use government services that are available anywhere and any time. So today I'm pleased to announce a brand new government app under the Service New South Wales banner, so our citizens can access government from the palms of their hands. This is the New South Wales Rego app that has been completely redesigned with new features and functions. Now you can renew your registration and also locate many government facilities on this app. But this app is in its early days. We intend to use it as a platform to deliver many more transactions. For example, we're currently looking at initiatives such as providing drivers knowledge tests or paying your fines through this app. Paying your fines is important as a finance minister, so certainly a priority for me, I can assure you. The Service New South Wales app is due to be released next month in an iPhone version first, and an Android version will follow later in the year. By investing more in digital, we can free up our service centres to take on more transactions, and the only transactions really that will require face-to-face service. So that's why we're rolling out more Service New South Wales centres and shops, including in regional areas across New South Wales. These centres will support customers when they need to see us on a face-to-face basis. In fact, as I said, I had the pleasure of formally opening the Hurstville Service New South Wales Centre this morning, which Mike was in attendance, and I can announce today that we will be opening 2 more one-stop shops in Hornsby and Castle Hill next year. And these are 2 new sites in addition to what we've already announced previously. Digital Plus for industry means it will be easier to do business with us. And that's why we're making changes to the New South Wales Buy Portal to make it easy to use. We are going to introduce more innovation into our procurement processes to boost and assist SMEs. And we're going to review our cloud services, policies and guidelines. In fact, today I can announce that Amazon Web Services is the latest international cloud provider to join the ICT services scheme. Digital Plus for government also means we need to shift from our reliance on paper. Currently, the New South Wales Government stores 500 linear kilometres of paper at the Government Records Repository. That's about the distance from Sydney to Mount Kosciuszko. I believe that we now need to transition from paper to petabytes. The records of the future are digital, and the repositories of the future are data centres. And for this reason, I've asked for a strategic review of government records management to address the shift from physical to virtual information assets. The Digital State Archive, established in July, is developing the capacity to protect the archival heritage of the state for future generations. This is not about getting rid of all of our paper. It is vital that we protect our state's precious records. I've often said that in order to know where we are going as a society, we need to have a strong appreciation of where we have come from, and that's why we're making available online as many of our archival collections as possible. We're ensuring that our heritage is protected, but as a progressive government, we also need to look to the future. I encourage you all to read and familiarise yourself with the Digital Plus strategy, and I thank those who have been involved in the update so far. The last story I want to tell you occurred just last week, and I was at the Open Data Summit where we made that announcement in relation to our data initiative, and I had the pleasure of hearing IBM's data guru, Steve Adler, speak on some of the initiatives that he's working on in the US. And he gave one example of how the National Health Service was able to save millions of pounds as a company was able to identify cheaper contracts for them to be involved in. I'm really excited about the future potential of data in government. I think it's one of our most valuable assets, or should I say, one of our citizens' most valuable assets. From the Apps for New South Wales program to the Premier's Open Data Initiative, I can tell you that our citizens and industry partners are equally excited about the opportunities that we have. I can also reveal today that Service New South Wales has been using data analytics provided by Google to redesign their homepage, to understand what information our citizens actually want and make it easier for them to find that service. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are on the threshold of a decade of data, and I want New South Wales to lead the region in data science. So today I can also announce that the ICT Board is looking into opportunities for us to improve how we link the various data sets that we have across government. We're examining options for a data broker to unlock the value of our data by looking across departments, and this can offer us a new tool for evidence-based policy decisions. I've been very encouraged by the open data efforts of this government, but I'd like to see even more transparency when it comes to financial data and have more assistance from the private sector, and we'll have plenty more to say on that in the lead up to next year's election. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a lot that has been covered here today, and it's fair to say whilst we've come a long way from floppy disks, we're certainly not the Apple iPhone yet. But I'd like to finish by letting you know how optimistic I am about the future of technology in the New South Wales Government. My agenda as Minister for Finance and Services has been quite simple, focused on delivering savings across government and delivering the next generation of services. Technology lets us do just that. It lets us get out of businesses that we shouldn't be involved in. It lets us do things we should be doing more efficiently. And it lets us do new things that we have not done before. My vision for New South Wales is a lean, efficient and connected government, and this update today is another step in that direction. The opportunities here in New South Wales are many. The opportunities are there. The future is very bright, in my view, and I can assure you, with your help, the best is yet to come. Thank you.